What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream, and happy Monday, people. The start of a new week, and unfortunately, Arsenal don't play this week. We don't play until next Monday, Monday Night Football away at Crystal Palace. So this weekend to come will be no Arsenal fixture. But of course, there's going to be a lot of transfer news to talk about as well. And the weekend has finished, first weekend back of the Premier League. Arsenal went 3-point collecting, that's the positive. But we are going to talk about the performance. I felt there were a lot of individual performances that were very positive. But there was also some things in that game that I wasn't happy about. And I know a lot of people are saying, it's the first game of the season, blah, blah, blah. It's just about the 3 points. But I think for me, some of the things that we saw on Saturday against Forest, we saw last season in certain games, and that's why I think I was a little bit apprehensive. The reality of Arsenal's end of the season, the reason we didn't win the Premier League last season is because we failed to kill off games. There was games that we should have finished off that we didn't manage to finish off, and we got warning signs of that against Forest the other day. 2-0 up at half time against Forest at home. You're supposed to win that game 3-4, 5-0, right? Everyone should be fighting to score a goal. Winning that game 2-1 with Forest having a couple free kicks at the end of the game and stuff like that, that's the difference. Killer instinct, killer mentality, Haaland takes home the match ball after that game, in my opinion, against Forest. Forest were there to be annihilated at half time, and we didn't. I know we won the game, but there's no way we should be winning that game 2-1. Ultimately, the positive thing is we won the game, 3 points, and we move on to the next one. You tick that one off, but we need to learn from what did or didn't happen in that second half. Big up Jens, who said my jersey is arriving exactly on Monday. Elliot Roberts is in London. Big up Elliot. I actually need to ask him to message me because I still can't find out this mystery of how he was blocked. I didn't block him. One of the mods has blocked him, and I can't find his account to unlock it. So I just need him to drop me a message, and then I should be able to do it. Big up Gavin. Big up everyone locked in. Man said Elliot's flown over to sort it out. Zach said, big up Curtis, first game of the season. We should be building on the players. We need to sharpen up and kill off games. Otherwise, we could get punished. LB said, look at the positives first before the negatives. 100%. 100%. He may have blocked himself. I don't know what's gone off. But listen, I always say in football that looking at the negatives is not always a bad thing. Definitely try and focus on the positives more, but you need to be constructive with the things that can be improved. You can't ignore the negatives is what I mean with Arsenal. We need to focus on the positives, but also look at the fact that things can be improved and need to be worked on quickly. Big up to FTL Gooner Craig. What's up, Big C? It's your boy Shoulders from Fort Lauderdale. Big up yourself, bro. I call this guy Shoulders, man, because the man's got some mad shoulders, you know what I'm saying? Big up to you. Met him out in LA and appreciate your support, bro. Big up to you on that. Tony said the clean sheet was the most important thing and we could not do it. Sidov said Trossard, Martinelli, Saka should be our front three for the next match. We'll talk about that one. MO7, Big C, I think we need a Saka replacement and another centre mid. And listen, Kudus is someone we're going to talk about as well. And K. Hayes Joseph, big up Big CO Paul as well. It's Carnival here in Grenada. Enjoy yourself, bro, and celebrate in Grenada. Anyway, let's look back briefly on the game. Not going to do it for too long, but we will do a quick player ratings as it is the first game of the season. And you know how we do. I want some of your comments in the chat. Let me know what you rate the players at as well, people. So, Arsenal won their first game of the season. That's the positive. We won 2-1. There were some very good individual performances. That's also the positive. I feel that some of the players are really going to a high level at the moment. In particular, for me, the two wingers who I think carry the Arsenal attack. I said earlier on, in the stream on Saturday that I think this is the year that Saka can become a world-class player. I think he's reaching that level. Some people think he already is world class, but I've always said that, listen, I want to see you in the Champions League, big nights at Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich. But Saka consistently is performing now. Everyone's doubling up on him. And his goal was absolutely outstanding. It nearly ripped the net in half. Gabriel Martinelli was superb. Magical 360 for that first goal that Eddie scored. He was a constant threat against Serge Aurier. And Aurier was really trying to be very physical with him as well. So those two, for me, are just... They're at a point where they're just going to get better and better and better. I think Saka, he's got that right-hand side spot on lock for Arsenal and for England. Martinelli's in the Brazil squad. That, they can go to wherever they want to go to in their career if they can, learn. I think they've both got to start getting towards 20 goals. They got 15 last year in the league. The world's their oyster. Akeem, big up, bro. We need an Osimhen and the starting 11 will be complete. Are we a striker short of being that club, I'm sure most of you watch Man City on Friday night, and I know it's boring and I know it's obvious, but Haaland. And I know there aren't many Haalands in world football. They're not, and they got him at a bargain price. But strikers win you games sometimes. They're the difference. When a game's tight, you give it to the striker, bang, goal, you win the game. It's just... But anyway, we're going to talk about it in more detail. So we win the game 2-1. Eddie Nketiah got the first goal. Was lively. His movement was good. I still think his hold-up play and link-up play needs to be improved. But let's give him his props. It was a good goal. And we needed that goal to sort of open the game up a little bit as well. And then Saka scored what I can only describe as a wonder goal. Like that was... I've seen a lot of people saying, Robben and... players like that. He's at the point now where it's like, you know what he's going to do, but you can't stop it. A lot of these left-footed right wingers are like that, aren't they? Robben, Messi, Bale was doing it. Salah's done it. And Saka's now doing it. Mahrez was doing it as well. They're going to cut on their left foot, but you can't stop them because you don't know when he's going to cut in. Just very smart, intelligent players. I break this game down into the 45 minutes. I think first 20-25 minutes, we were a little bit slow, but we still dominated possession. We were in complete control. Once we scored the goal, I thought that second part of the first half, we were outstanding. Forest couldn't live with us. We looked like we were going to score every time we went forward. And I'm sitting there at half-time going, this can be anything we want it to be. This can be 5-0. This can be 4-0. This can be anything we want it to be. That second half, for me, is what concerns me about Arsenal. And I know people saying, let's focus on the positives first. And I have. Look, 79% possession. Brilliant. Dominated the game. Forest played 200 passes. We played 769 passes. 90% pass accuracy. We absolutely dominated the game. 8 corners, 7 shots on target, 15 shots. Complete domination. That's fine. Dominated the game. But we're going to go through the player ratings. And before I do, and I'll be reading your comments at the same time, so keep getting your comments in about the game. For me, last season, Arsenal did not win the Premier League because they failed to kill off games where they were winning. It's as simple as that. People can turn around and say, oh, Man City are too good. Haaland scored 50 goals, that's why they won the league. We didn't win the league because 2-0 up against West Ham, we didn't finish the game off. Drawing 3-3 against Southampton, bottom of the league, making mistakes, not finishing them off. Not beating Liverpool despite being 2-0 up. Losing away from home against Nottingham Forest in a relegation battle, they are the reasons we didn't win the league. We could have lost home and away to Manchester City and still won the title. Right? That's the reality of the situation. We didn't win the league because at the end of the season, we conceded sloppy goals like we did on Saturday. And we didn't kill teams off when we were 1 or 2-0 up, like Saturday. So people are saying first game of the season, oh, accept it. No, because I saw those warning signs last season and we're doing it again. And we were doing it in pre-season. Man United in New Jersey, simple mistakes costing us goals. You look at the goal we conceded against Forest, it's shambolic defending. Alanga picks the ball up 10 yards outside the edge of the Arsenal penalty area. And he runs the length of the pitch. And Saka's the one tracking him. When Saka's shattered, he's been running up and down all game. Wide open, and we end up hanging on for the last 10 minutes. Totally unnecessary. Should have won the game 3 or 4-0. Now, I'm going to speak about the shape of the team. They're listing it here as a 4-3-3. As a manager, you get paid big money to make big decisions, right? The manager earns £8.5 million a season. He got a new contract. He's considered a big manager by a lot of the fan base. Whatever your opinion on that is or not, cool. We're neither here nor there. Now, we're not managers. We all probably think we're great managers, and we all think, we know football. We've all won titles on FIFA and Football Manager. I know it ain't quite the same in real life. But you don't need to be a rocket scientist to realise Thomas Partey's not a right back. We don't need to experiment. We do not need to experiment. I said in the stream, this ain't Dexter's laboratory. We don't need to go in the lab and start trying to, make potions. Last season, our starting 11 was very, very good. There were a few areas where you could say, okay, I could upgrade Xhaka. Maybe in an ideal world, you could upgrade Gabriel Jesus. Timber's coming, probably made us stronger. But that system, that setup last season, it worked. I like the fact that you want to be flexible and have the ability to play different ways. That's fine. But you do not need wholesale changes. At the moment, what we are doing is shoehorning players into the team. Changing systems to enable us to fit players into the side. And it does not work. 4-2-3-1, Partey, Rice, Odegaard, midfield. Balance, power, creativity, no messing about. Thomas Partey can't play at right back. Can't play at right back. Not the way we was playing him. You're asking him to play centre midfield when we've got the ball, and when it breaks down, go and run to right back. And what they're doing, they're getting the ball out wide to Gibbs-White, and Partey's 15 yards behind him, trying to chase after him at right back. And it didn't work. Ben White's getting dragged out. He's leaving space. Saliba's coming across in the middle. It did not work defensively. It didn't. First half, no problem. Half time, 2-0 up, in total control. But second half, it did not work. You do not need to complicate things, Arteta. And listen, who am I to tell Arteta what to do? He's a football manager. He's played at the top level. He's on nearly 10 million a season. But I think everybody in the comments knows, man, Thomas Partey, he was burning out at the back end of last season, playing in midfield. You're trying to play him centre mid and right back in the same game. You can't do that next week against Eze. You can't do that in a couple of weeks against Rashford when he's playing left wing. You can't do that against Son. You can't do that against Jack Grealish. We will get torn to bits. What he's trying to do at the moment, Declan Rice has to play, cost 100 million. Thomas Partey has to play because one of our highest earners and a big player at the club, we've convinced him to stay. Kai Havertz cost £65 million. So the board are looking at Arteta like, well, hang on a minute. You just spent 65 million on him. He better be starting. Martin Odegaard's your captain. So he's forcing all 4 of these guys into the team rather than going, you know what? Maybe Havertz got to sit down on the bench for now, even though I did pay 65 million. I watched Chelsea yesterday. Mudryk was on the bench for 80 minutes. They paid £88 million for him. Not every big expensive player is actually in the team to start. Sometimes you have to start on the bench, work your way into the team, prove yourself. Don't shoehorn people into the team. The formula works. The formula works. We all watched Arsenal last season. We were good. We played good football. The system worked. Just add a little bit more quality in certain positions. But that system that he played, it failed us at times, and in particular in the second half. And when Timber came off injured, it certainly failed us. And I think the manager should have changed it during that second half. There was a point in that second half I could have fell asleep during the watch-along. We were flat, we were boring, we were slow. You should have brought Gabriel on, gone back to 4 at the back, changed the midfield, given us that balance. I don't think we would have conceded a goal. And Uncle Pap says, Curtis, we won. I know we won. I know we won. And I'm happy that we won. We won 2-1 against a team that turned up to not even really do anything going forward. They didn't even play a striker. They had no striker on the pitch. They had 11 players behind the ball. Manchester City is where we are trying to be. We have to change our mentality as fans. This ain't a year ago when I was saying, listen, give me fourth now, you can end the season. That's what I was saying last season. Give me fourth, lock the season off. I just want Champions League. The price went up, people. Yesterday's price is not today's price. I want Arsenal to win the Premier League. We nearly won the Premier League last year and it hurt. It hurt bad because I believe we threw the Premier League away last year. Maybe we didn't have the squad depth. Maybe we didn't have the experience. We've spent more money than any team in the Premier League this season, right? Our target has got to be to win the title. So that means where Man City are at, we've got to match them. We may even have to go beyond them. If you're 2-0 up at half-time against Forest with no striker on the pitch and you're in total control, you've got to finish that game off. And that game is not a one-off. I saw it last season at West Ham. I saw it against Southampton. I saw it against Liverpool. We've seen it, people. We have to change it. We did it in pre-season in games as well. Now, for me, and I honestly, no agenda. You've got an agenda. Listen, for me, at the moment, you've got to be very careful the way you manage Kai Havertz. We need to have the conversation. It's as simple as that. No agenda. I want the best for him. I want the best for the football club. You've got to be very careful how you manage this guy. Because my issue with Kai Havertz is, what's his best position? If I say to anybody now, where does Kai Havertz play? You'd say, oh, he can play there. He can play there. Sometimes jack of all trade, master of none is not a good thing. Trossard's probably finding it out now. You're very versatile, but you're struggling to get into the team. In my opinion, at the moment, I'm not sure Havertz is a midfielder. I don't know if he wants to put that kind of running in. I think he's almost better off playing higher up the pitch. He may become a good midfielder. Xhaka in that attacking role, it worked. The agenda voice always goes, you've got an agenda, you know. But the manager has backed himself into a corner with this signing. And I hope it doesn't come back to bite him. That's all I'm going to say about Havertz. We need more from him. Talented player, always said it. How do you get the best out of him in this Arsenal team? What position do you play him in? But we're going to talk about it. Let me get into these super chats, then we'll do the player ratings. Eli said, thank you for the super chat, bro. Said, need to stop force-feeding Havertz into this team. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. That game seems like Gabriel was sacrificed in order for Havertz to play in the team. I agree with that. I agree. We have a very good partnership with Saliba and Gabriel. I just don't see the need to break that up. That's the solid base that you build from. But at 2-0 up at half-time, I suppose we should have still won the game despite the system. But is there, we still got to work, obviously, on the mentality. Robbie, thank you, bro, said the Tierney saga frustrates me and angers me. He's a quality player that is much better defender than Zinchenko and Kivior. Do not sell him. The problem is nowadays, especially with fullbacks, they're judged on two things, defending and attacking. When we were younger, you looked at a player and said, can he defend? And Tierney can probably, I'd say Tierney's a better left back than Zinchenko and Kivior defensively. The problem you've got is what we're trying to do on the ball. Tierney is not built for that. I think he's been mistreated a little bit. But the reality is when a manager wants you out of a club, they tend to mistreat you. And that's what we're seeing at the moment. It is what it is. Does this Timber injury change things? Timber apparently is having a scan today. We may get some news while we're live on here. If we do, we'll discuss it. If that injury keeps him out for a while, you may have to change your plans. Big up Carl, who said, I know this is off topic, but after watching Liverpool v Chelsea, Arsene Wenger's offside rule proposal can't come soon enough. Yeah, silly offside. I think that they want it where, is it if your legs are in line or something, you're onside, even if your upper body, something along those lines. But yeah, it is what it is. I thought it was a good game yesterday. Big up Cole. Big up the Southern Gooner. Morning, brother. See that lineup look like Beverly Hills Cop 3. Dun, 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 dun. It was a bit all over the place, man. You know what I mean? But I suppose the manager would turn around and say 2-0 up at half time in total control. the players didn't take advantage of it. I think the manager needed to change things. But big up Southern Gooner, man. Beverly Hills Cop settings. Big up Fitz. 100% Curtis. Big plain facts. End of. You know Fitz don't mix his words, man. It's straight to the point. So anyway, we're getting to player ratings. Big up Gunts. Bless Big C in the community. I hope everyone is blessed. Imran said Kai Havertz is the tallest player in the team. Why are we playing him in midfield while looking for a tall striker? I mean, the height thing is, I mean, Patrick Vieira, we signed Patrick Vieira on this day, actually. And he was tall and he played in midfield, but he had an engine. He could run. Yaya Toure could run. They were built to run an all-action. Can you get that out of Havertz? We're going to discuss him in the player ratings, and I'm going to say it as it is. You know, anybody that thinks I'm wrong, thinks I'm being too harsh, fair enough. I'm not here to you know, we're not running through a field of buttercups, people. You know, there's no time for that. You look at Pep. Pep walked onto the pitch at half-time, started arguing with Haaland after he, you know, curled one in the top corner, crossbar and in. Do you know what I mean? You winners win, people. Winners win. And that's what we need to do. That's the mentality we need. Big up Jashar. Big up Curtis. Kieran Tierney is a 5th choice left back we need to sell. That's a reality. He plays Tomiyasu ahead of him. Kivior, Zinchenko, Timber. Kieran Tierney is 5th choice left back. Your 5th choice left back gets sold if you get a decent offer. That's the reality. Pep came on the pitch at half-time, 2-0 up. Haaland's got 2 goals. He's put one crossbarring in. He's arguing with him. Do you know what I mean? He's pushing the sky camera out of the way. That's the mentality. The guy never stops. The demand is so high. Not everyone is built for that, people. It's difficult. Yeah, people saying age restrictions should apply. I'm telling you, I want this team to win. I'm going to push people. I'm going to make things uncomfortable for people. I told you. That's what we're here for. I'll support players. I've been quite kind to the players and Havertz and that. I'm not ranting and raving and swearing. I'm saying, listen, I need to, you know, we're going to discuss it. Let's do the player ratings anyway. Start with Aaron Ramsdale. Let's start with Ramsdale in goal. Didn't get to keep a clean sheet. The goal, not his fault. You know, that's defensively we were wide open. He didn't really. I mean, they had 2 shots on target. One went in. One was relatively straight at him. I'd give him a 6. I don't think he did anything wrong. He didn't do anything particularly great. What I will say, and one thing I've always said about Aaron Ramsdale, makes me nervous from set pieces. I don't think he commands his area as well as I would like to see. Some of the crosses, you know, comes out, he's punching. But listen, no problem. Not really going to go. He had 2 shots on target. One went in, one was straight at him. What more can he do, really? I give him a 6. Yeah, and he did close down Brennan Johnson well for that. So, yeah, you're right. I give him a 6. But David Raya will be thinking, you know, I can come in here and put some pressure on him. But listen, we'll see what happens. Thomas Partey, the right back. The right back. I'm going to be kind to Thomas Partey because I think when Thomas Partey was in midfield, in the position that he plays, by the way, midfield, I thought he was quality. I thought he kept the ball and he was good. Now, there was times at right back he got exposed, but that's not his fault. Do you know how hard it is to get from the middle of the pitch to right back when the left winger gets the ball? I'm giving him 7 out of 10. I'm giving him a 7 because he's playing. What do you want him to do? What do we expect him to do? Right, what I want you to do, I want you to get into midfield, pass the ball around, and when it doesn't work, I want you to get back into right back and chase after the left winger that's full of energy. He was set up to fail. I'm sorry. I'm not actually going to downgrade him. I can see some of you giving him a 6. I don't blame him at all for what happens at right back in that game. Yeah, he got skinned by Alanga. Alanga's rapid. He'd been on the pitch for 5 minutes. We know that Thomas Partey's engine blows up at the best of times, people. Thomas the Tank Engine, as I think Broad's just called him. The goalie can't catch him. He's too quick for him. Usain Bolt, sometimes you can't catch him, people. He ain't a right back. He ain't going to work playing him there. I'm giving him a 7. I thought in the middle of the pitch, he was class. And that's where he plays. You want to play the guy in 2 positions and one that he's not comfortable in. What do I expect him to do? Ridiculous that we even tried it, to be honest. He did get cooked a couple times, but I'm giving him a 7. I'm giving him a 7. Getting skinned by a guy that's rapid, that's just come on. What's he supposed to do? What's he going to do, really? He ain't a right back. I'm giving him a 7. I thought on the ball, in midfield, he was quality, and that's where he should be playing. Let's go to Urian Timber. I mean, it's going down. I'm yelling timber. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Them words, I mean, he's injured. Knee mash-up. It's crazy, isn't it? A player play a whole season. Oh, you know, no injuries, no problem. Timber hardly ever misses a game in Holland. Comes to Arsenal, first league game, injured. What, like, honestly, what's going on at Arsenal? And this ain't new, by the way. This has been happening for over a decade. This has been happening for 15 years now. Arsenal players get injured. What is going on here? I mean, listen, I can't rate him too high because he came off after like 50 odd minutes. I give him 7.5. I thought he was having a very good game. He did get booked. I don't know. Anytime a player gets injured with no contact, you're panicking as a fan, as a player, as anything. It wasn't good. It wasn't good. We'll probably find out the results of that scan today. All we can do is wait. All we can do is wait. Pavel said many injuries around the world. Are players being overplayed? Are they being overtrained? Yeah, we've always had this story that the Arsenal training ground pitches are rock hard, apparently. We've heard that for years. Apparently they did change them slightly, but I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, a doctor left. He went to Man United. I don't know what it is. Maybe they need to completely get rid of the medical staff. I'm not sure. I'm sure they have changed over time. But I don't know. Timber gets 7.5. Played really well. But the injury. Pavel, you're right, actually. Yeah, Militao's just done his ACL. And Kunku's out for a number of months. Courtois done his ACL. So I don't know. But yeah, we'll wait and see on Timber. Let's hope it's all right. If that's anything major, it's panic stations. I'm telling you, because he looks like he's a vital player for us already. So let's hope. I will be refreshing online. If anybody sees any news on that, obviously feel free to share if we can get some breaking news on Timber. Let's go to Ben White at centre-back. Centre-back, sort of right back. Don't worry, somebody just said if you got my super chat, I've got them waiting there. I will go back to them, no problem. Ben White, I thought he did okay. I'd probably give Ben White a 7, to be honest. He did get booked. And again, you played him in a back 3, so that meant he couldn't get forward as much. Again, the system held him back. He's got a good partnership with Saka, but you're playing him in a back 3, so he's got to play more narrow, which means he can't overlap. And so I'm going to give him a 7. I thought he was fine. I don't think it was really his fault. The only thing I would say that's just popped into my head, I think he should do better on the goal. So I'm going to downgrade him to a 6.5. I actually think Awanye's run across the front post is very basic, and Ben White doesn't go with him. So I am going to downgrade him to a 6.5 because of that, because I think he should track the runner and block it, but he doesn't. So I'm going to give him a 6.5 just because of the goal. But again, I don't think you've set him up the right way. The brothers played right back, done well. Now you're playing him in a back 3. No need for the experiment, I'm afraid. He didn't track the Awanye run, and it's a basic run across the near post, what any striker would do. And he doesn't track him, and then he's throwing arms up after, blaming other people. You got to mark your man, bro. Saliba, people. Saliba! I thought he did okay, but it's difficult to mark him. Right? I'd probably give him a 7. Didn't get booked, didn't make a mistake. But it is what it is. I mean, Jack's having a go here. He's going, Curtis, you say about how you can't blame Partey for being out of position. What about Zinni? I mean, Zinni didn't play. I don't know if you meant Ben White, but the difference between Partey and Ben White's in the defence just simply tracking the runner. He's right next to him. Not rocket science for him to mark him. Thomas Partey is making a 20-yard diagonal run from midfield to get back to right back to track a winger that's just come on that's rapid. It's just not going to happen. Again, you know, we don't need to be rocket science. He's not going to catch a Langer, you know, after 80 minutes. It's not happening. Henan Gunnar, Tony Claude, gonna TV up. You're good. How's the weather in Finland? Big up, Tony. Claude Gunner TV as well. Let me read a few of these super chats because people think I'm ignoring them. We've done the keeper and the back four. Sky Touche, photos. I'll take it. Wanye looks strong and fast as goals. Nah, not for me. I like that profile of striker. I would like us to get that kind of striker. Big, powerful, got some pace. I don't think Wanye is at Arsenal level right now. I want somebody in that bracket but higher. I like the things that he's got in his game, though. You know, that kind of Drogba powerhouse thing is what I think we lack. But there aren't many players within that category. Nelly said Jesus second knee up, and if Nketiah is injured. Well, Nelly, where do you go? You go in Havertz or Trossard? You need specialists. I'm not a great believer in all this. Oh, he can play there. I don't like that. Sometimes I don't like, oh, he can do that. You know, if my kitchen starts leaking and the pipes are burst and I ring a plumber, I want him to say, I am a plumber. This is my job. I do this all the time. I don't want him to be a carpet fitter and he says, well, you know, occasionally I fix, you know, do a bit of plumbing on, you know, in my spare time. No, I don't want that. I want a specialist. I want a striker that's a striker that bags, that lives and breathes that position. Not a winger that, you know, if you play me up front, I can do a job there, you know. No, I want specialists. I want a specialist. Do you know what I mean? That's what I want. Yeah, versatility in some positions, cool. You need that as well. But in general, I want a specialist. The plumber needs to be a plumber, not something else, people. You know, E. Ross said, I'm a plumber. There you go. You know what I'm saying? If the kitchen's leaking, I'm going to call E. Ross. Sort out the kitchen. I'm not going to ring a carpet shop, you know, and get, as Oz said, get an inverted plumber to fix things. It ain't going to work, people. I need specialists. You know what I'm saying? So just go and get Ivan Toney and we'll wait till January. It's quite simple. I've heard Robbie saying, what striker should we... Just buy Toney. We'll wait. Just buy him. We'll put up with what we've got until January. Give me Ivan Toney after Christmas. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year, Ivan Toney. Keep him away from all bookmakers in London. I don't mean to joke about it, but I couldn't help it, people. It's too easy. Anyway, it's like trying to put batteries in a fridge, says Trish. It's just not going to work, is it? Do you know what I mean? Get a specialist. I don't want inverted... Nah. Get a specialist in. Howbeast, 2025, Arsenal buy Brighton, Ferguson for 110 million, 5-year Klarna. Well, bro, you know, Brighton, look at the prices they're selling players for. We're apparently friends with them, but Caicedo's just gone to Chelsea for 115 million, so that friendship went out the window real quick, which is what I said in January. I had a lot of arguments with people in January. People were, oh, yeah, no, Jorginho was a good signing. I said, no, we should have bought Caicedo. Yeah, but they wouldn't take 70 million, pay 90 million. He was that good. And now, look, 115 million. 90 million would have probably looked like a bargain in January now. And he's a beast, by the way. Make no mistake about it. Him and Enzo in Chelsea's midfield and Kunku in that attacking midfield role when he's back, that's a problem. E. Ross said, injured. Yeah, they're always injured. They come to Arsenal, they get injured. It's like you do a song when you sign for a club. It's like they have to get injured to prove they're proper Arsenal players. Make sure you smash the likes, people. Happy Monday. Alberto said, I still want an upgrade from Eddie. I want someone that's going to compete with Jesus all the time. Curtis, we need to push harder to get to the top. I'm in a few group chats, Arsenal fans and stuff like that. And I got a message from someone at full time on Saturday. And he said to me, you need to apologise to Eddie. And I said, what for? And he said, well, he scored today. I said, okay, so because he scored today, I have to apologise to him. I don't understand that. Like, do I all of a sudden think Eddie's good enough? I don't. I'm not apologising. It's too late to apologise. I've said too much, people. I'm not going back on my thoughts. Works hard, runs around a lot, and he will pop up with a goal. He will. I've never said he won't. Is he good enough to win us a title? No, I don't think he is. So that apology is not on the way. That's not me No. Good goal. All right, I want to see one next week. And I want one the week after. Because that's the level I need to see, people. I mean, I'm not apologising. Man asking me to apologise because Eddie scored a goal. No. Score 10 goals. Score 12. Score 15. Then I'll apologise. Until then, No apologies needed, people. That's where I'm at. I'm harsh, people. But I'm honest. I'm honest. I want an upgrade on Eddie as well. But, you know, good goal. We'll talk about it in the ratings. Oliver said Arteta thinks Partey's Nathan Ake at right back. I don't know what it is. You know, Pep does that. He does that. You know, do your own thing, man. Have your own style, man. You got to do your own thing sometimes, Mikel. He's definitely not Nathan Ake. Big up Gemma Bryan, who said it's my birthday. Curtis, 36 today. Show me some love. Been at work since 5 a.m. I mean, first of all, what are you doing at work on your birthday? Surely that's an excuse to ring in and say, you know, I've got a bit of a bug. I can't make it in today, before going and enjoying your birthday. And second of all, happy birthday. And appreciate you tuning in on your birthday as well. Big up yourself. Honest or hypocrite? There you go. You're a hypocrite for not apologising. I will not apologise. One goal does not make things right, people. You are right, Curtis. Get Caicedo in January. Argument done now. He's 115 million. We'll have problems this season because everyone has stacked up. Going to be a hard season, man. Tony Gunnar TV said, Curtis, if he gets goals every weekend, then it's all good. Just win me the league. Shameless settings. There we go. Oh, you know what I mean? I'll be there with it. I'll be there. No matter what. We will be there, people. We will be there. No matter what. He scored 11 goals for a relegation team. He scored 11 goals for a relegation team. Who are we talking about here? Are we talking about Eddie? 11 goals? Sky Touche. I don't know if I've lost sight of the convo there. Are we talking about, if we're talking about Ivan Toney, didn't he got 20 goals last year? Forgive me, you might be talking about, and I've forgotten who we was talking about. Young Gunner said, versatility can be great, but can also hinder a player's ability to nail down a position. We were average going forward and still can't see out a game. Yeah. I always say, specialise in one position on a football pitch. And then you can talk about, I can play in other positions and blah, blah, blah. Sasha said, Curtis, it's my niece Sean birthday. Give her a shout out. Happy birthday to you. Have a blessed day. Big up for tuning in. Oh, Awanye. Sorry. Awanye. There you go. Big up the community. Awanye. Well, he got 11 goals in a relegation team. Yeah, not enough for me. Not because he's scored 11 goals. I don't see enough in his game. I think he's limited. I think he's just a battering ram. He'll run into you, run through you. He's a problematic player, but not for me. If Arsenal signed Awanye, I wouldn't be happy with that. You know, I don't think Awanye in the Bernabeu is doing anything. Technically, I think he's short. But I hear you with the suggestion. Let's go into the midfield. They say save the best till last. Do I just get it out the way? I mean, the midfield three, do I just get the Havertz discussion out the way and then at least... I'm going to get the Havertz out the way because I want to then be positive. I'm looking at the next players, Rice, Odegaard. It's going to get a lot more positive. So... we'll talk about Havertz. Hal B said, do you know the number to FFP? I want to snitch on Chelsea. Well, Chelsea find the loopholes, you know, all the time, you know, so you can't hate Mr. Cool Bus Driver. It's not my birthday, but big up on herself, bro. Big up. Let's get the discussion out the way. Let's just get the discussion out the way because people seem to not want to talk about it. And that, for me, is the issue. Talk about it. You go online, you mention Havertz, they go, oh, it's only the first game. Or, yeah, he does need time. Of course he needs time. But you're going to keep judging a player on what you see on a week-to-week basis. When we signed him, we had a certain opinion. Then he had pre-season, we had a certain opinion. He's played his first league game, we've got a certain opinion. We're not saying he can't be a good player at Arsenal. We're not saying he doesn't have talent. We're saying what we're seeing at the moment doesn't offer me a lot of encouragement. I don't see how that can be. If you put that on Twitter right now, there's people crying in the comments. Like literally, I can see the tears through their words. I'm sitting here saying, listen, I wouldn't have signed him, but we have. Support him the best we can. Let's hope that it works. And I want him to do well. Because let me tell you something. I'd love nothing more than to go to Chelsea fans and go, yo, look at the state of that guy you had playing for you and look at the player we've got playing for us. Do you know what I mean? I'd love to do that. At the moment, I'm more concerned about him than optimistic about him. I don't think he had a particularly bad game, to be honest. I'm going to give him a 6. I thought he worked hard. Thought he got on the ball. He was tidy when he got the ball. My biggest problem with Kai Havertz, somebody said his name's Kai Havertz. It does hurt a little bit watching him. My biggest problem with Havertz, he's not involved in the game enough. Not involved in the game enough. And my second biggest problem is I don't know what his best position is. I watch him in midfield. I think, has he got the engine? Has he got the work rate? Does he want to get stuck in? Do you have to just play him in the front three and try and get him around the penalty area? I mean, I don't know. I watched Maddison play for Tottenham yesterday. I'm going, well, if in an attacking midfield role, Maddison's a better player and he costs less. 65 million could have gone on a striker, could have gone on a specialist midfielder. I don't know. I don't know how you get the best out of him. I don't know what position you're playing him. Is it, could you have played Trossard in that attacking midfield role? Could you play Smith Rowe there? I'm going to try. I'm not writing him off. Let me just make it clear. I'm not hammering him. I'm not writing him off. We're still going to support him. But I'm sitting here right now on the 14th of August saying, at this moment in time, I would not have signed him. And I don't know what the plan was when you signed him. I don't know what you were signing him for. What was the purpose? Where was you? Well, I don't know. I don't know it. I'm sorry, people. I say it as it is. Can he become a good player? Yeah, and we'll be patient and we'll see. At the moment, it looks like you've blown 65 million. I'm sorry. I'm not here. It's the start of the week. It's Monday. And I know some people can't handle it when you just shoot from the hip like this. Right now, I'm sitting there going, yo, why on earth did you do this? I don't get, I mean, Braun said Havertz's best position is in the changing room. I mean, watching Kai hurts me, says Frames of Football. I mean, we've got dad jokes running on a Monday. I mean, it is what it is. Somebody's having a go. Where is it? The impatience here is next level, says Mike. Mike, come on. Come on. Like, I'm saying it with a little bit of a smile on my face as well. It might work. It might work, Mike. It really might. But at the moment, damn. Whew. I mean, it's like one of them when you go out on a night out and you're having a really good time. And you wake up the next morning and you go, you empty your pockets and you go on your banking app and you go, oh my days, I've spent the rent. I've spent the rent. You know what I mean? It's like one of them, like I'm waking up going, I mean, Mike, see, you're not allowed to make in the moment analysis. You've got an agenda. Give him time to settle. Nah, I'm saying it as it is. Right now, it looks like a clanger. I hope it works, please. Honestly, Kai Havertz, score goals, shut me up, make me eat humble pie. But right now, just all I want one explanation from anyone because people are saying be patient. And I get that, I'll be patient. We gave Xhaka 5 years, so, oh cool, he deserved. Somebody tell me what position Kai Havertz plays. Like, that's all I want to know. What position is Kai Havertz? Is he a 10? Is he an 8? Is he a striker? Is he a false 9? Is he a right winger? That's all I want somebody to explain to me. What position is Kai Havertz? That's all I want to know. Left centre mid, said Ennis. He plays football. That's what someone said. He just plays football. He's a number 12. Raul said, bro, give him at least 6 months. In one game, you have decided his fate. No, I haven't. Raul. I haven't said sell him. I haven't said he's not good enough. I've said, does he fit with what we're trying to do? The reason that players tend to work at clubs is because they fit the system. There is a place for them in the team. I almost think he's a 10. I would probably play him as a 10. But ultimately, you want Odegaard getting in them positions. So I don't know. DJB said position for Havertz is car park attendant. Dear. Tuchel said in an interview he's a hybrid 10-9, so ideally a second striker, but we don't essentially play this system. And that's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying bad player. I'm just saying, where do you play him to get the best out of him? Jermaine said, Curtis, you need inverted patience. I might need it. He's a space invader. They were good. Are they crisps? Space Invaders. Yeah, Space Invaders were an elite packet of crisps growing up. They're about 10p. I think they're about 30p now. Inflation is real. I think I like the barbecue ones. Or was it the, what ones? Pickled onion? I don't know. They were an elite crisp growing up. They knew their position, that's for sure. You know what I mean? Inverted crisps. Well, we're making up positions now. Football, I don't know. Maybe I'm falling out of touch with football, to be honest. Inverted 10/9s and yeah, come on, Pickled Onion Space Raiders were elite. They're 60p now in Nottingham. I mean, it's a disgrace. That's more annoying than how Havertz is playing at the moment. The Space Invaders are now 60p when they were about 10p when I was a kid. It's crazy. You could go shop with £1 and get everything. But anyway, let's not lose sight of what's important. But yeah, Havertz gets a 6. So for all my, you've got an agenda, I've given him a 6 out of 10. It's not bad. 6 out of 10 is average. But I'm still confused. I feel like the cartoon characters, you know, when they're having a fight and they get punched and they've got birds round their head and they're dizzy. That's how I feel when I watch Havertz. I'm confused. Well, hopefully it works out. You know, it works out in the cartoons usually. Well, Muller, yeah, I think he could play in that role. I think he could play in that role, but do we play a player in that role? Anyway, let's move on. 6 out of 10. I can't keep talking about Havertz because they'll be crying, saying I haven't given him a chance. But I need to see more, is what I would say. Let's talk about the other centre, midfielders. Let's talk about Declan Rice. I thought he had an excellent game. As I said, Declan Rice is a player that is you're not gonna go on YouTube and watch the highlights. If you like skill and goals and stuff like that, he's not there for that. He's there to sort things out, stop attacks and get us going. And he's getting on the ball. And I think he'll get better and better. I'll give Declan Rice 8 out of 10. I thought he was excellent. I thought he was really good. I think he probably could have scored that volley. He volleys it into the ground a little bit. But I think Deckers is just class. I think he's class. He reads the game so well. Doesn't give away a lot of fouls. I think he's brilliant. I think he's a brilliant player. And I think we needed him. I think ultimately he will get better and better the more he plays. You've got to remember he's come from West Ham, playing under David Moyes, who plays a long ball up to Mikel Antonio to run after. He's just class. He's class. I like Rice. 8 out of 10. Rice, baby business. Quality. And I want to see that obviously against the better teams. If he'd have scored, he'd be up there as man of the match. But obviously Turner tipped it onto the post. A lot of you giving 8. You were not very happy with Rice. That is not true, Pavel. That is not true. I said all along, if Arteta wants him, pay the money. I said I wouldn't have paid 105 million for him. But if it costs 105 million, then pay it. So if you're going to come at me, you got to come with straight facts. Did I say he's worth 100 million? I don't think he is. Did I say there's English tax and he's overrated? Yeah, I did. But I never once said I didn't want him. I wanted him. And I knew the manager wanted him. So I said, pay the money. So if you're going to come for me, turn up with facts. Straight facts, people. Remember the interview with Rafa Benitez? He pulled out the paper. He said, fact. I want facts only. I never said I didn't want Declan Rice. I said English tax. Telling me, Ross. English tax. Anyway, Declan Rice, 8 out of 10. Let's talk about Martin Odegaard. Woo! The sun was shining on Odegaard, man. Silk. Pure silk at times in that game. Man said, okay, time out for me. Okay, we'll do it. See you in 3 minutes. Have 3 minutes. Just consider your actions. And we'll have you back in 3 minutes. I'm doing it purely for the banter. You know, that's what we're here for. They're shooting. They're strays. You can't come with strays. You got to come with facts. Rice v Timber. Who looks the £105 million player, says Tony. Woof. That's harsh. Let's enjoy both of them. You were hating on Deckers last season. He's a West Ham player. I'm not supposed to like him. He plays for Arsenal now. Of course I'm going to like him more. Do the maths, people. Come on. Here we go. There's a few coming for me, but I won't hide. I disagree with you today. You knew he had enough to win that game. He is preparing for low blocks. And if you understand Arteta, he wants fluidity. Where was the fluidity second half against the low block? Where was it? We didn't create one major chance in the second half. We actually lost the second half 1-0. So he knew we had enough to win the game is an insane thing for a manager at the top level to do. Because 2-0, we could have drew that game 2-2. So if you're telling me that Arteta knew at 2-0 at half-time we'd won the game, so he didn't go for it, I mean, that is insanity at its finest. Because if we draw that game 2-2, what are we going to say? So I don't agree with that. But respectfully, you know. I'm here for the smoke, people. It's Monday. We're here to talk. Let's talk about Martin Odegaard. Anyway, pure silk. Good on the ball. Second half, we went quiet in general. But I give Odegaard 8 out of 10. His link up with Saka is just brilliant on that right-hand side. And you know, it's a player we need to get on the ball. I mean, Rowan said we were as fluid as cement in the second half. I'm telling you, man, don't overcomplicate things, Arteta. If anyone from Arsenal's watching, man, just keep simple and effective. But yeah, it was a sunny day for Odegaard, 8 out of 10. He's class. He's absolute class. I want to see Odegaard boss at the Allianz and the Bernabeu, boss level unlocked after that. I'm with you. Them performances, do them in them big games, but he's playing well at the moment. He is, for me, one of the best players in the Arsenal team on the ball. Assassin said, Curtis, off topic, need your thoughts, but after watching Lee Judge's interview with Robbie after the game, why is Robbie so defensive when criticising the club and manager? Curtis Shaw TV, don't sugarcoat. I only saw a clip of the interview. I kind of skimmed through some of them. So I'll reserve some of my opinion before I watch all of it. But I saw a clip of Lee, what he was saying. And yeah, Robbie defending. Listen, he has them opinions. He does, you know. He does. He's very defensive of the club. I'm a great believer in that. I think you've got to be able to criticise at times constructively, you know. But listen, I'll watch the whole interview before I really give you a solid answer on that because I didn't watch all of it. Anyway, let's move on. Let me get through these super chats because people keep thinking I'm ignoring them. Landon Lowe, 7.2 sofa score for that game though for Havertz. Listen, it's a few guys in an office who give a rating. You know, I would trust my own opinion over an app with 3 guys in an office giving a score. He was not 7.2 out of 10. But it is what it is. We've all got our own opinion. Bleck said, Havertz reminds me of King Kai of Dragon Ball Z. Well, you know, someone out of Dragon Ball Z. Bit of fire. I know they shoot fire at times. He could do with that himself. Kai Havertz is a 10 out of 100, said Beresford. Robbie, big up yourself for becoming a member on the channel as well. I think you have been here before as a member. And Young Gunner, what's Sean Dyche's take on Havertz? Obama. What, Barack Obama? I mean, maybe you meant Anana. But, you know, if it was that me, mate, I'd never have Kai Havertz at Everton, mate. We want people who run through brick walls, we eat bricks, we eat wood, we eat concrete. Kai Havertz looks like he's floating around the pitch, mate, like Casper the Ghost. You know, it's not for me. We need strong players. We need Ananas. You know, we need Tarkovskis, people who, you know, they've got, what do you call it? They've got Vaseline on their eyebrows. So, Kai Havertz, leave him at Arsenal, mate. Don't want nothing to do with him at Everton. Anyway, there you go. Young Gunner. People got me doing Havertz on Super Chats. Cormac started this. Anyway, let's move on. The front three. Gabriel Martinelli. Oh, Aliyah. Oba, oba, dun 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 dun. Hey, dun 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 dun. Hey, oh, that's what I'm here for, man. I mean, I'm a bit of a sucker when it comes to a little bit of skill. I can't lie. I'm probably easily pleased as a football fan, but when man start dropping 360s and, you know, that Brazilian salsa at the Emirates, I'm just like, I'm weak for it, people. I'm weak. Martinelli, Jogger Benito, like, yo, that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for. What an assist. What an assist. Magic. the guy is just he's just brilliant. Now, no, yeah, most streams I'll probably shout lift your head at some stage, and that's just where we are, right? But listen, magic. He did really well against who was the right back? Sergio Aurier, former Tottenham player. What are we gonna give Martinelli? I'm probably at. I was thinking 8.5. Let's have a lean on the community. What are you saying about Martinelli? 9. Obi says 8. Had me off my seat at the Emirates, says Tony, and that's what we want. Martinelli, Curtis, and Turkish favourite. Listen, I'll be honest. I am a massive fan of Martinelli. I think he's special. E. Ross said 9. Mercury said 8. Khalid 8. A lot of you saying 8 and 9. I got 8.5. Got him down as 8.5. I think a goal would have really come. Oh, the recovery run, man, when the ball was short and he runs back. He's what a player. What a player. I'm tempted to give him a 9. I'm tempted to give him a 9, to be honest. I'm going to give him... There's a lot of you in the comments. Sorry to just go off topic. A lot of you are saying that Timber, about his injury. Is there news? Is something breaking on that? I need to... I'm just checking because I'm really waiting to see on that news. I've just been checking and I'm sure it's saying there's no news on it yet. Yeah, I don't think it's out yet. I think people are jumping the gun on that one. No, I don't think nothing's been announced yet. Nothing's been announced. There's people in the comments saying he's out for ages. There's no news. Don't panic us, people. Don't panic us. But yeah, I thought Martinelli was outstanding. I'll give him an 8.5. I'll tell you the reason why. There was a lot of debate. People saying who was better, Saka or Martinelli. I actually think that Saka was slightly better than Martinelli. Not everyone will agree. Oh, Neymar, yeah, look at the deal, man. Unbelievable. Sad day for football, by the way. I know we're going off topic, but Neymar, for me, was heir to the throne of Messi and Ronaldo. This was the best player in the world after those two. That PSG move is potentially the worst, one of the worst moves we've ever seen in football. Neymar was the one. And for him to end up in Saudi, I mean, listen, financially, he's laughing all the way to the bank, but sad as a player. Why are so many people saying that Timber's out all season? I can't see nothing about it. I really hope that's not true. But yeah, Saka. Saka gets man of the match for me. The goal is on another level. The goal is on another level from Saka. I mean, it looked like he ripped the net in half. He hit the ball so hard. Seen a lot of people talking about Robben, you know, and stuff like that. Yeah, he's getting in that zone now. You know, you look at them, you go, yeah, he's left-footed, he plays on the right. Why can't you stop him cutting inside? But you can't stop it. It's because of the timing. And because Saka can actually run to the byline and cross it with his right foot, you've always got that possibility. He got that left back, by the way, Aina was it, who they signed from Fulham, I believe. He actually looked quite sharp against him, and Saka just done him in. Got him booked, he got substituted, and the goal was just absolutely outstanding. So he gets a 9 out of 10 for me. He got man of the match on TNT Sports, and I make him man of the match. I just think he's the difference maker. He's consistently performing for us, and what a goal. And we're so lucky that he signed a new deal. So Saka gets a 9 for me. That goal alone will get a 9. Big up Winston, who said, big up Curtis reaching out from Jamaica. People saying the Timber news is just ITKs. No legitimate source has said anything. Still sell Tierney. Saka gets a 9. Well, Tierney, I think, is on his way out. He's down the pecking order, and Jake says a 9. So man of the match for me, Bukayo Saka, unbelievable goal. He's the difference maker in this team at the moment. It's as simple as that. Everyone doubles up on him, and he's still producing. Let's talk Eddie Nketiah, as you know, and I'm openly honest about it. I'm not the biggest fan of him. I do think we should upgrade, but he got his goal, and until we got that goal, we didn't look very... Well, we were comfortable in terms of possession. We're dominating the ball. But we didn't look as if we were going to create a big chance. And it was a good goal. It was a good goal. You know, he shimmied it, forced Willy Bolly to dive in. Shot gets a deflection, goes past Matty Turner, and fair play to him. He's in the team to score goals, and he scored goals. Do I think he can do more? Yes, I do. Do you know what? I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10. And I actually don't think his all-round game was amazing. But do you know what? At the end of the day, you haven't been in the team and you've come in and you've bagged. And that's all I can give you. That's all I can give him, really. I feel like I do need to give him some respect. And you know what? I give him a 7.5. I give him a 7.5. And not quite an 8. He wasn't involved in the game much. I give him a 7.5. I will give him some props. It was a good goal. He does work hard and he's got good movement. And that's all I can say, really. There's not much more I can say. Apart from that. While Jesus isn't in the team, keep scoring goals. Keep scoring. That's all he can do. Just like a postman posting a letter on his first day, he said, "Ant, come in and do your job, bro." Dre said he's like an Origi come off the bench impact player. However, that's Arteta love child Pickney. I mean, Origi was scoring huge goals. Champions League final, you know, Champions League semi-final. Big goals. But then Origi never started on a regular, where I always feel like he's desperate to get Eddie in the team. But I give him a 7.5. Do I think he's that guy to play? Like Boss J said, I don't. But, you know, let's see. Let's give him time. Versailles said, PSG won't miss Messi or Neymar. Messi disappeared in big games. The fans wanted him out. Neymar, incredible talent, didn't do enough. Mbappe leaving would have been devastating. Yeah, that project has failed, hasn't it? You can't have a front three that won't work defensively, you know, unless you're the next 8 players are unbelievable defensively, and their balance was all wrong. So Bleck said, remember the name Big C? Martinelli, it's a classic. Yeah, Martinelli's a superstar in the making for me. I think he's that good. People saying Origi was better. Origi was better than Eddie. The goals he scored were absolutely huge goals, you know. Let's quickly go through the subs. Let me skip through this. I've been on show for over an hour. I didn't even realize I haven't even finished player ratings yet. Gabriel, Tomiyasu and Trossard. I would give Gabriel and Tomiyasu a 6. They weren't on for long. And Trossard did a really good run. I'll give him 7 just for the run. So we'll round it up. In terms of the manager, Mikel Arteta, for me, I think the system, if he'd have changed it in the second half, I could have praised him and said, we were 2-0 up, it went flat, you changed it, we won the game. But because you didn't change it, and we conceded, and then we could have lost, even though they didn't, not lost, we could have drew, but they didn't create a big chance. I would probably give him a 5. It nearly cost us. The game. And you need to stop shoehorning people into the team, is what I would say to him. Somebody giving him a 2, a 6, a 5. Somebody giving him a 4. I would give him a 5. He needs to be very careful. Against better opposition, we could have drawn that game. Small margins. But luckily we were 2-0 up. Put some damn subs in and start Trossard, said Eros. Start Trossard, please. Arteta gets 6. Obi gives him a 2. 4, said MD. And 5 average, says Yardman. So people aren't happy with that, but we won. We won is the best thing about it. Assassin Curtis, fire question for you, bro. If a Saudi club reached out to you, asked you to get involved with a fan channel, offering you £1 million, but you would have to stop doing Arsenal shows, would you do it? I mean, listen, Arsenal, you're my team. I love you, you know. But for £1 million, woo, you know what I mean? I don't know. For £1 million. We'll go and talk about something else. I'll do a hip-hop channel or something. Maybe we'll just put TikToks out about Arsenal. It's £1 million, you know. Inflation is real, people. Inflation is real, is all I can say. Man said, bye, Felicia. Oh, dear me. Listen, let's keep it a buck, man. You know, money talks. Dirty cash, I want you. Dirty cash, I need you more. Money talk. Hey, come on, man. It is what it is, people. I'll turn up tomorrow. We'll talk about Al Nassr. We'll talk about Ronaldo and Sadio Mane. I'm sure we can make it work somehow, people. But hey, it is what it is. Anyway, hey, big up Latte. Anyway, let's talk. Wow, I can't believe I've rattled on about that game for 1 hour. I haven't even got into transfers yet, and stuff like that. But let's talk transfers, of course, and let's talk Kieran Tierney, people. It's a strange situation with this guy. It's a strange situation that's occurring with Kieran Tierney, and it looks as if he could be on his way out. Photoshop picture of him in a Newcastle shirt, which is always interesting. Photoshops. But he's being linked with a move to Newcastle today, people. And Newcastle apparently have a list of 2 left backs. One is Kieran Tierney. The other is Raya. The crazy thing about this, and I'm going to explain the story in a bit more detail. Newcastle want to loan Kieran Tierney with an option to buy him next summer. I mean, what kind of foolishness is this? Aren't they owned? I'm sure their owners are the richest owners in football. They're worth like some crazy billions in terms of their whole family. And they're turning up acting like paupers. Like, you're worth billions and billions and billions, and you want Kieran Tierney on loan with an option to buy? What kind of... No. It does say that Arsenal are potentially willing to let Kieran Tierney go in a slightly cheaper deal where the payments are spread. I don't know if it's FFP that's stopping them buying him. Arsenal want around 30 to 35 million, which I think is a more than reasonable price for Kieran Tierney. He's still got 3 years left on his deal. Like Latte said, it's Arsenal. So whatever you value a player at, probably take 20, 30% off that, and that's what he'll go for. But they want him on loan with an option to buy him next summer, which is absolutely ridiculous. It's saying they may potentially offer around 25 million if they can spread the payments. It's a strange one, innit? I mean, Dre said Arteta would be foolish to let Tierney go. Why he's holding Cedric and Elneny's still here? I mean, listen, first of all, the players you're mentioning there, of course, holding Cedric Elneny, them guys should be long gone. But I suppose the problem we've got is we've spent £210 million. We're going to be expected to recoup some money. If you sell Elneny, what are you getting for him? 2-3 million? Cedric, 2-3 million, 5 million? Holding, you're probably lucky if you get 10 million for all 3 of them, the way we do business. So ultimately, they're going to sell someone like Tierney because he has some value on the market. The problem we've got is, and I always say this, Arsenal make it too obvious that they want to sell a player. They push them out of the equation, and it's publicly known that they want to go and that they want to sell them. So teams are turning up going, you know what, Tierney's probably worth 30, 40 million, but he's not even on the bench. He's not even on the bench. So everyone knows that we're selling him. They know he's on 100 grand a week. They know we've got 3 or 4 players paying ahead of him. So they're going to try and bump us. And the closer they get to the transfer window closing, they're going to say, we'll give you 20 million for him. We'll take him on loan with an option to buy. And ultimately, Arsenal could end up in a situation where they've got to take some sort of stupid deal like that, because Arsenal will want to get him off the wage bill, first of all, at £100,000 a week. So this is interesting, and not for the right reasons, because to me, Kieran Tierney is a very good player. And if he is going to leave, we should be selling him on a permanent deal, getting money for him, and then investing that money elsewhere. Him going on loan with an option to buy is a poor deal for everyone concerned at Arsenal. But clubs know we want to sell. If you know somebody's desperate to sell, you're not going to offer them their asking price. That's the reality. Alfred said, Curtis, I'm sorry, but we made a mistake not buying Isak instead of Jesus. He's silky fast and can finish. Most importantly, not injury prone. It's crazy, isn't it? And sometimes this shows how careful you have to be with stats. Because I'll be honest, when we were linked with Isak, I hadn't seen that much of him. I'd seen a bit of him. And I was impressed with him, but I couldn't help the fact that I was like, this guy scored 6 goals last season in Spain. Surely he's not worth 60, 70 million. I got to be honest, when I watched this guy play for Newcastle, he is a problem. He's an absolute no wonder we were in for him. He's a problem. He's crazy how he plays. He's so relaxed, skillful, 23 years of age, tall. I mean, maybe we should have bought both of them, but he's a problem. He's definitely a talented player. People saying he's injury prone. I mean, he hasn't looked injury prone at Newcastle. I would have liked it if we could have got both of them. I do like Jesus. I'm not actually turning my back on Jesus. For 45 million, I think Jesus a good player, but ultimately you need another option that's better. Simon said Newcastle can spend according to revenue. They are stuck. It's the same as us. We can't buy anymore until we sell. Chelsea push the FFP rules. The thing with Chelsea, they sell players for big money. You know, you look at this summer, Havertz 65 mil, Mount 60 mil, 17 million for Koulibaly, 15 million for Mendy, 17 million for Loftus-Cheek. You know, even though they spend a fortune, they balance the books by selling players for big money. They've made over nearly 200 million in player sales. Jashar said, take the Kieran Tierney money and run. I like him, but he's overrated. Yeah, Jashar's not a big fan of Kieran Tierney. But, bro, at the moment, they're not even offering money. They're offering IOUs in the future. And that's the problem. So, Isak was out for 3 months last season, was he? I actually didn't know that. I knew he was injured. I didn't know he was out for that long. Isak and Tonali, Newcastle moving mad. Yeah, listen, they're going to be a problem this year. Big up highly wanted criminal. But listen, Kieran Tierney being linked with a move, loan with an option to buy, forget about it. Absolutely forget about it. You know, it's interesting, isn't it? You know, Sociedad turn up, loan move. Newcastle turn up, loan move. Why? Because they know we've got a player on our hands that we want to sell, that probably will want to leave, and they're going to try and bump us. And the closer it gets to deadline day, the offers could get worse. Arsenal lover said, would you take Brennan Johnson from Forest? I wouldn't personally. I think he's a little bit one-dimensional. You said for 25 million as well. I mean, apparently Tottenham are being linked with him for 40 million. People saying take the IOU. Wow, that's how bad it is. Listen, Kieran Tierney being linked with Newcastle. I think he'd be. The thing is, I think he'd do really well at Newcastle. I think he's a better left back than Dan Burn, who I once called a giant sloth. I actually think Tierney would do really well at Newcastle. But like somebody just said there in the comments, it's what they've earned. They're not selling players for any kind of big money, Newcastle. They've only just got in the Champions League, so maybe they can't afford to spend much more money. They've bought Tonali, and I think they bought Harvey Barnes as well. So maybe they can't spend much more. Tierney would go crazy at Newcastle. Newcastle automatic top 4, don't sell to them. Yeah, that's a good point. You got to be honest. I know in our mind we are, title challengers, but if, let's say we don't do as well as we think, Newcastle are a team that we'll be challenging for top 4 with. So should we even be selling Tierney to Newcastle? Dash Cash said, big up Big C in the community. What do you think of us going back in for Tammy Abraham or even trying for Dybala? Tammy gives us a different style. Tammy's done his ACL. I think he's out until Christmas. So Tammy, I mean, I'm not a big fan of Tammy Abraham anyway. But obviously with an ACL injury, we're not going to go near him. Dybala had a release clause, I believe, until the end of July. We could get him for 20 million euros. I think now that's gone. Roma would ask for bigger money for him. So I don't see that deal happening now. If anyone was going to buy him, they would have activated the release clause. So, yeah, I don't think any of those two really would end up at Arsenal. Let's see. Listen, Tony's the one, isn't he? Tony is the one. It's just whether Arsenal would go for him with the PR or would they still be willing to go for him? Anyway, let's move on. Sky apparently have said Arsenal are assessing Timber today after he was injured. Yeah, we're hoping we get an announcement on that today and we can talk about that. David Raya. He was at the game on Saturday with his family. His agent was there as well. Apparently the deal is completely done. Announcements, medical, everything done. It should be announced today. There's no reason really it shouldn't be announced. It will be a loan. Apparently it's an option to buy, but an obligation to buy if he makes a certain number of appearances. You can very easily manipulate that if you didn't want to buy him. But listen, he'll join the club. I've said many times, I don't think he's joining to sit on the bench. That's my opinion. But we'll see. We'll see. It'll be interesting. I know a lot of pundits have been saying that, it's crazy to have two goalkeepers of that level. It's going to cause problems. But I think the competition will be healthy. Clement said, don't sell Tierney to any team that wants him on loan. It doesn't seem as if anyone wants to buy him on a permanent, which is the worry. Is Raya a new member of X-Men? Why is he posing like that, says Nimbo. Hey, Rashford does the 1 point at the ear. Maybe he's doing 2, His gloves are mad. Listen, I don't care what his gloves look like as long as he stops shots going in the back of the net, A lot of people are saying there's news on Timber, but everything I can see, there's no announcement, there's no news. It looks as if we're just waiting for the results. A couple of accounts. An account here saying if the rumours are true, we may not see him for a long time. There's another account saying that Arsenal are sending Timber to see a specialist after the first scan wasn't clear how bad it was. Listen, it's not looking good, but we'll see. Until I hear it announced officially, I'm not going to gamble on what ITKs are saying. Let's go off official sources before we start panicking. Simon Paul, Chelsea plus 50 million this year. Before on transfers, before the Caicedo buy, they spent 540 last year with no Champions League if they missed their effed. Well, the thing with them, they've got sellable assets. They can always sell. They could sell Conor Gallagher. They'll get 40 million for him. England international. Probably get more for him. They can always sell players. That's how they balance their books, It's just the way they do business. Obviously, Jurrien Timber. A lot of you are asking about Timber. There is no news. There's no official news. There's a lot of people online saying it's not looking good, but none of them are official. So until I see it from an official source, what's the point me spreading panic amongst the fan base? There's no point. These are the same ITKs that said Isaac was signing, that said Mudryk was signing, and they never signed. So I'm not going to panic about something until I see it in an official source. Let's just quickly talk about Balogun. Somebody said there, who are your dark horses for this season? It's got to be Newcastle. I think Newcastle are a very good team. Because you look at Harvey Barnes, I think he's a very good player. Always rated him. Isak, you got Wilson, you got Almiron, you got Tonali in midfield now. They're a strong team, Newcastle. They really are. Let's talk about Balogun, as we always do. Monaco are evaluating the possibility of relaunching another bid for Balogun, closer to his €50 million asking price. They're pressing to sign the player. They've already had bids rejected of 30 and 40 million euros. It's believed 50 million euros will be enough to get the player over the line. I think he'll leave. I think he'll end up at Monaco. They seem to have the cash, and if they come in with 50 million euros, I think they get the deal done. Newcastle v Man City this weekend. That will be a brilliant game. I can't wait for that one. I think Newcastle will cause a lot of problems to teams this year. I really do. They've now got a good squad, and they've got people on the bench to come on as well. They're starting Isak. They're bringing on Wilson. They're starting, Almiron and bringing on Harvey Barnes. They've got Tonali. You look at their midfield, Tonali, Joel Linton and Bruno Guimaraes. That is top quality. I used to laugh at Joel Linton up front. In midfield, the guy is a beast. Bruno Guimaraes is fantastic. We should have signed him when he went to Newcastle. And Tonali's quality as well. They're going to be good this year. Wouldn't surprise me if they go far in one of the cups. So it looks like Balogun's on his way. It's not exactly breaking news, is it? I think we all know he's on his way. Obviously wasn't involved in the squad. He's training with the bomb squad who can't get on the bench. He's on his way out. He's on his way out at the end of the day. get as much money as you can, put a sell on clause, keep it moving. That's all we can do. Simon said just take the 50 million euros so we can buy Kudus. Let's talk Kudus. Big up Simon with the super chat. You beat me to it there. I put on the title race for Kudus. I'm just confused with my only opinion on this now is I don't think we're trying to buy him. I don't think we're really in for him, or we don't have the money to buy him because maybe we need to sell players. Fabrizio Romano tweets this morning, West Ham have now opened talks to sign Mohamed Kudus. He's a priority target in case Lucas Paqueta leaves to join Manchester City. Manchester City had a £70 million bid turned down for Paqueta. Apparently West Ham want 90 million for him. He's not worth that, but City have got the money. I'm sure he'll end up as a City player. Positive talks on the player side. Apparently, he's verbally agreed personal terms with West Ham already. Kudus is open to the move, still waiting for the approach as Ajax will depend on Paqueta. So West Ham are not actually going to buy him unless Paqueta leaves because they've got Paqueta who plays attacking mid. They've got Jared Bowen who plays right wing. They're the two positions that he plays. Brighton agreed a deal with Ajax, but weren't able to agree personal terms with Kudus. West Ham have already agreed personal terms with him. They've obviously got more money. They've sold Declan Rice for huge money. They're a bigger club than Brighton. They'll be able to pay him a bigger wage. Kudus is willing to go there. The rumour is now that Ajax want more for him now than they did before Brighton bought him. Because there's less time to replace him. They have agreed a 12 million fee to sign former Arsenal player Chuba Akpom from Middlesbrough. Chuba Akpom was one of the top goal scorers in the Championship last year. He's got an incredible move to Ajax from Middlesbrough. That is an unbelievable move for him, really. He moved to the Greek league to try and rebuild his career, come back to Middlesbrough, banged in goals, and ended up at Ajax. So he'll go to Ajax. I mean, listen, if Man City offer 90 million for Paqueta, West Ham are taking it every single day of the week. I like Paqueta. I think he's good. But West Ham are not going to turn down 90 million. That's 195 million for Rice and Paqueta. That gives them a lot of money to rebuild. Kudus is obviously open to a move. He was willing to go Brighton. They just didn't offer him the wages he wanted. He's willing to go to West Ham. They can offer him the wages. Why are Arsenal not moving for him? You know, you look at Saka. Saka looked tired again at the end of that Forest game. You look at the challenges that people are putting on him. And you've got to say to yourself, where is the cover for Saka on the right? Nelson's better on the left. Trossard's better on the left. Martinelli's better on the left. Smith Rowe's better on the left. None of these guys are genuine right-wing cover for Bukayo Saka. I believe that we're in a situation where we can't spend big money until we sell a few players. I think our wage bill, our lack of sales out is probably causing us a problem. I reckon that's why we got David Raya on loan and we've spread the payments and stuff like that. I think we need to get rid of Cedric, get rid of Pepe, Lokonga, Nuno Tavares, probably Tierney, probably Balogun, Holding possibly. I think they've got to significantly reduce that wage bill. Fabio is the cover for right wing. I mean, if he's the cover for right wing, then we got a problem. Harry said Nelson was a right winger, came up as a right winger, but seems to have been a left winger for a while. Steve, totally agree with you on this. We missed a trick not signing Moussa Diaby at 34 million. Absolutely agree with that. We should have signed him cheap, quick. We wanted him in January. He went for a lot cheaper. Why did we not go back in for him? I don't know. I just don't know it. But Kudus looks as if he could be on his way to West Ham, people. We are so bad at selling, said Zelda. I mean, listen, the Xhaka one was very good at 21 million, but the rest of them were not, we haven't done great business there. Sidar said, Curtis, I'm saying this now. If Arteta don't win trophies this season, he's gone. Start having some standards. Listen, you don't need to talk to me, bro. Let's see. Let's see what we do. The standards have to be high. He needs to do something this year. He's been backed. He's had 4 years. Arsenal always have a controversial signing that splits the fan base. It seems to be the case. Should have had him instead of Havertz. Kudus can play striker if we need. Scored 17 goals last year. Real said, Big C, based on the start, Newcastle and Liverpool look so much better than us. Hopefully we start slowly and pick up the pace. Brighton is a sample of a well-run club, despite lost key players and manage. I think with Arsenal, you've still got to look and say, we played a system that didn't suit us on Saturday. We also played without our number one striker. So you would like to think once we go back to the 4-2-3-1 and we've got Gabriel Jesus up front, which shouldn't take too long, we will look a far better team. So listen, I do think we got a good style. I wouldn't necessarily say Liverpool look better than us because I think Chelsea or Liverpool could have won that game. But maybe the balance of the team didn't look as disjointed because we're playing a centre midfielder at right back. So I think we'll get better once we see that set team. I don't think you will see Thomas Partey at right back against Crystal Palace away next Monday. It's a much, much harder game. Before we round up, can't let the community leave without some waffle, of course. Yeah, I do think we still look better than Newcastle and Liverpool. I know Newcastle ripped Villa apart, but we finished 20-odd points ahead of them last year, won it, something like that. Quick waffle, and I will be skipping through it because I've been on for nearly an hour and a half. Mikel doesn't look as happy. You know, we weren't very good in that second half, but we did get the 3 points. Cone Man music is back in full effect, people. Quick waffle, get the syrup ready, skip through this, and then we're out of here. On the nervy finish to the game after our first half, welcome to the Premier League. I think that's the highlight. We were super dominant. We deserve to win. There's no question. But when you are 2-0 up and you have some chances to kill the game, and we didn't, then we gave away a very sloppy one. And having the corner and a chance straight away, 2 passes, you concede a goal. When that happens in the league, it's game on. Listen, and I'm glad he's aware of that. You know, even he knows we've got to finish games off. On Timber's injury, whether he was close to coming off at half-time, he said, no, the officials and doctors looked at him. They were happy for him to continue. But straight away in the second half, in the first action, he made a movement and it was a bit funny. So we took him off straight away. I mean, I hope it's, you know, a bit funny. Hopefully is not too bad, but, you know, it is what it is. Until we find out today. Tony Ferrari, the entire system was a shambles on Saturday. We don't have a prolific striker, said Army Man. Let's skip through the waffle. On Bukayo Saka's stunning goal from that distance against Matt Turner, it's not easy to score, but it was an incredible finish. On whether it was tactical to play Partey at right back and have Gabriel on the bench. He said, we expected a game that actually happened. We needed somebody else there in midfield to do what we have to do best and have more fluidity and occupy certain spaces. In relation to how we were defending, I think it worked really well. First half, maybe. Second half, definitely not. I think he's referring that Forest might not have had a striker, which they didn't. On the momentum shift in the second half, he said it's going to be difficult to dominate games for 100 minutes. But it is why we allow them to get some grip of the game because they created anything but at the end of the half, that action, the game changes and momentum changes. Let's skip it. On whether his tactics are designed to identify solutions to problems, said that's my job to create bigger problems for the opponents and ones that they are creating. Let's skip it. It's boring. On whether Saka has the makings to be one of the best players in the league in Europe, what I ask him and all the players is to be the best version of themselves every single day. That's the only thing they can do. And then how good that version is very hard to tell with any player because we don't know. We don't know how the Bukayo of 2 years ago or today or 2 years' time will be. Very generic answer, boring. On whether Gabriel Martinelli's performance today can be what we expect of him this season, he said that's Gabby. He needs to be alive. He needs to be energetic. He needs to take chances and go for it. Something I liked today and I didn't like much 2 weeks ago was that he was going to give the ball away and he tracked back because this was the defining moment. When Gabby is doing that backwards and then forwards, he's one of the best players and most dangerous players. Fair enough. What a load of blah, blah. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, people. I've got to skip. It does get a bit boring with him. On how pleased he was to see Eddie get off the mark, he said, delighted for him. He's a role model. He's a player that was so disappointed with the absence of Gabby and not to play a final. What he did when he came on the field in the final was that he changed the game. That's number one. And the second one, the way he trained this week, he was telling me, Gaffer, if I don't play, you are blind. I think that's worth a full screen skip. There's a lot of waffle there. Give me a second. Role model. That's a song by J. Cole in it, I think. Eddie's the role model. First of all, Eddie's the role model, which I'm not sure why. But, you know, let me not say anything before they go, you've got an agenda against Eddie. What more can he do? I'm convinced he's his dad in some way. He's got to be his stepdad, this something. Right, let's go back. He said, Gaffer, if I don't play, you are blind. If I don't play. I mean, he scored, so fair enough. Maybe he was right this week. Maybe he knew. A lot of players come and say, oh, why am I not playing? And you have to try and explain. Other players tell you the reasons why they deserve to play. This is exactly what Eddie does. This is exactly what he did. Then he goes onto the pitch and he performs as well. It's a clear example and a very good example for everybody. You can't tell me he's not his stepdad. You can't. You cannot tell me when Mikel left Liverpool the city, when he left Everton, you cannot tell me he didn't meet a nice woman in the North London area and adopt a young child named Edward during his time as an Arsenal player. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's a love fest. I mean, he told him he's blind. Do you think Pepe could have told him he was blind? He'd have put him in prison for that. He loves him. The reality is he trains well. Train well and you smile. He loves you, this guy. That's why Holding's still there. That's why Elneny's still there. And that's why this guy is still there. Because he runs around a lot in training. Wow. It's a love fest. It is an absolute love fest. People saying the announcement on Timber is close. But how close? It's like signing Declan Rice. It was close. But it took about a month. He loves him. Eddie and Tetia. That's an absolute banger, by the way. Anyway, let's move on. Enough of the love fest on Eddie. And if we are looking to move the ball quicker in our play, especially, that's a shocking question. On the issue supporters had getting into the stadium, he said, from my position, I apologise in relation to the club. Well, it's not like he could do anything about it. How impressed has the boss been with Declan Rice's leadership? He said he's very natural, as you've seen today. I don't know if it was after 2 minutes or 10, the way he's moving, the way he's coaching. He's integrated into the dressing room. He's enjoying his position. He probably should have scored 2 goals. More of the same. He's not thinking. He's just acting, and I'm pleased with what he's done. End it. I've had enough. It's boring. Waffle settings. Lock it off. I'm glad that was quite a short press conference. The questions, terrible. The press conference answers, boring. But hey, it is what it is. Carl said, without Timber, should we play a 3-2-4-1? No, just go back to 4-2-3-1 for me. Plays Zinchenko at left back. He's fit now. He's in full training. If Timber's out. E. Ross said, Eddie and Tetia. Yeah, absolute banger, that one. And Tetia. That is tremendous. Definitely a good one, that. People, I'm going to round up. I've been on for an hour and a half. Great Monday show. Listen, overall settings, 3 points in the bag. Most important thing. Make no mistake about it. 3 points. Constructive criticism, kill teams off. Don't need to have that stress at the end of the game. 2-0 up in control. 2-0 teams are always still in the game. 3-0, it's game over. We need to start scoring the third and finishing teams off. But listen, Crystal Palace next Monday will be a more difficult game. We know Palace away is always difficult. I know Zaha's left. I know Elise's out injured. So they're not as good as they were. But still, Palace on a Monday night in South London will always be difficult. I want to be called a role model on there as well. You know what I mean? But anyway, it is what it is. It'll be interesting. Let's see if we get an announcement on David Raya today, and let's see if we get an announcement on Jurrien Timber's injury and how long he's going to be out for. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, people. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll have more to talk about. Transfer news. We'll continue to build up to the game at the weekend. And thank you very much for tuning in. I will see you all tomorrow, people. Bless.